Why? Just why? What possessed anyone to do this? I know that WB is desperate for anything, and there are a lot of idiots out there. For example, the producer that they decided to put front and center for this trailer. But Jesus, who thought this was a good idea? I don't know how to understand this from any perspective. I'm pretty sure it's obvious based on what I'm saying in the title that I'm talking about ThunderCats Roar, the show that they just announced. And I question this on so many levels. I don't get why this show exists at all, but I'm going to break down the many reasons why here. Now, the big obvious thing that a lot of people are going to point to is the art style. I'm going to save that for a bit later because I'm going to go into a small tangent about that in general. First off, you already have a ThunderCats reboot. ThunderCats 2011. That show was fantastic. It had great art style. It had great action scenes. It was quiet when it needed to be. It was loud when it needed to be. It was a great reboot of the series in general. And it was made for the audience that grew up with ThunderCats. I have been seeing on Twitter a lot of people are saying, yeah, well, no one watched it, so that's why they canceled it. No. That is not why it got canceled. It got canceled because Cartoon Network wanted it to fucking die. Because it wasn't selling enough toys. So here's what Cartoon Network did, and I got this from a tweet because I remember the general timeline, I just didn't remember the specific timeline, and this helped condense it, so it's a lot easier for me to get to. ThunderCats 2011 went from Fridays at 8:30 p.m. to Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. after a several-month hiatus. Episode 13 aired on November 25th, 2011. Episode 14 aired March 24th, 2012. The series went into another hiatus after June, where Cartoon Network decided to end it. And yeah, they ended it. They ended it in the most unglorious way possible. They didn't even announce that it was canceled. It was on a 2-year hiatus at that point when the producer of the show went onto the show's forum and said, yeah, we aren't making this anymore. Because Cartoon Network didn't even have the fucking balls to come out and admit that they were canning the show. And again, the main reason is because toys. It wasn't selling enough fucking toys. This is what has been killing action cartoons for the last couple decades. It's because they aren't selling enough fucking toys for reasons that I don't understand. Networks still seem to be in this idea that cartoons need to sell action figures and toys and dolls and all this crap. I believe I heard that they can't do anything with the series anymore because they did the same thing with this that they did with Megas XLR. They wrote it off as a loss for tax reasons, so they can't ever touch it again. So it is dead, which is really frustrating considering it ended on a cliffhanger. So even the show's producers didn't know that it was going to be canceled when it got canceled. So now we see this really weird, out-of-nowhere reboot called ThunderCats Roar. And this one is just bizarre, and it looks like an instant cash grab. There are so many things wrong with it that make me absolutely believe this is a cash grab because Teen Titans Go is extremely popular. First, the voice actor that is doing Lion-O, he sounds like he's trying for the classic Lion-O, but as a parody rather than an imitation. I can't be alone in thinking this. The dude sounds like he wants to be Lion-O, but is doing it in a joking haha way rather than a I am seriously trying to be a voice actor way. Oh, but this is a comedy action series, they keep saying throughout the trailer. Then why am I not hearing what sounds like a serious action thing? Why am I not seeing any kind of action throughout the trailer? This looks like it's pure comedy in the form of an action series rather than an action comedy. And if there is action in this, if it is an actual action series, then this is one of the worst trailers that they could have possibly done, because there's nothing that shows it. The producer, one of the first things you hear from him is, I grew up with ThunderCats. My brothers were really into it, or something along those lines. No one says that. No one who is a fan of anything says, my brothers were into it. You say, I was into it, or my brothers and I were into it. You don't say, my brothers, and leave it at that. That makes me a little bit nervous. That's one of those kind of tells that tells me this dude actually didn't like the series when he was growing up. He didn't really watch it himself, and he just got slapped onto this for some odd reason. The intro that he talks about that he had to make that was on par with the original because otherwise it would just be so bad and so terrible. If what they showed at the end of the trailer is the intro, then it is really bad and terrible. It screams comedy, period. It does not scream action series. It screams comedy. I don't understand what kind of delusion they're under to think that this could be anywhere close to the original ThunderCats. I'm not even going into 2011 ThunderCats because they cannot come close by a country mile to that. But even the original ThunderCats, this isn't anywhere in the ballpark. This is pathetic. I can't tell if they're delusional or if they were told to act like they like this series, because I would like to believe that studios have become aware enough due to Teen Titans Go and Powerpuff Girls 2016 that the producers and the directors shitting on the fan base of the original series doesn't help. So I would like to believe that that is why this dude seemed so happy-go-lucky about the series. Either he was told to by WB and Cartoon Network, or he is under an extreme delusion that this is on par with the original series. Either case, I'm not really buying it. I want to be optimistic, I really do, but I have seen so much from terrible reboots in the last few years that I have become cynical and jaded to the point where I just can't, no matter how hard I try. I saw on Twitter as well that they were saying, oh, well, this is a show meant for little kids. It's not supposed to be for you, the people that grew up with ThunderCats. A question, if I may. Why ThunderCats, then? Why are you using a property that kids have never heard of? The only people that know about this are the people that grew up with it. There will be... It's like, oh, well, it's just like OKKO. It was made for a younger audience, and it's for them, not for you. Yeah, but OKKO is original. It's not based off anything. At the very least, I can say Teen Titans Go. The reason that exists is because the Teen Titans comics, and to a larger extent DC Comics in general, have been around forever and are always around for everyone. ThunderCats disappears. It disappeared for about a decade and a half. Then we got the 2011 reboot. It disappeared for another decade, and now we got this. There is no little kid anywhere that has heard of this, that will know of it, that is going to watch it because it's based off ThunderCats. So why the fuck are you making this? Let me give you a really good example of a, oh, it's made for little kids, but an adult audience is what keeps it afloat. My Little Pony. That show would be nowhere near as successful as it is right now if it weren't for the adult audience that watches it. Now, you can say whatever the fuck you want about bronies, but if it weren't for the people watching it in massive droves that normally you would expect not to be watching it, that show would have probably been canceled several seasons ago when Lauren Faust left. Now, let's get to the art style. Look, Cal Art's style, I'm okay with when it's done for original stuff. Adventure Time, regular show, OK KO, Steven Universe. These are all fine because it is an original thing that's being done. It fits because these series were built from the ground up to use the style. It does not work with shows that have already been made that had distinctive looks, and then you convert it into the Cal Arts style. That's why this looks like hot trash. That's why so many people were upset with what they're doing with Teen Titans Go. Originally, they were fine with it because it was sort of a chibi style, but then they did the weird transition so that now they want to be the Teen Titans of old, but in the Cal Art style, and it doesn't work. It can be argued that Powerpuff Girls 2016 works in the Cal Art style because, in a way, that was kind of how the original series was. It was sort of a prototype Cal Arts style, which I can see the argument for that, and I agree with it. Like, the girls, they kind of look like they fit. None of the other characters look like they fit, though. That's the problem, is that while the girls may kind of look like they work, no one else in that show does. And no one in this show looks like they were made for this show. It looks like you were trying to cram a square peg, the original ThunderCats style, into a round hole, the Cal Art style. And it does not fit. People are not upset because of the art style, period. They are upset because the art style does not work for this. How difficult is it to grasp this? And it's not just like random internet nobodies that are upset about this. Everyone is upset about this. The video itself, I'm going to link to it so that you can see this abomination. But the video itself, as of the time of my recording, it's sitting at about 100,000 views, 300 upvotes to 2,500 downvotes. 90%. 90% down. You have to have done something horrible to get that. Normally, you can get at least 30, 70, even for bad shit. There is a relatively well-known internet artist and animator. His YouTube channel is called A Fox in Space. This is the dude, if you haven't heard about it, he did the sort of Fox McCloud if it was on Adult Swim kind of thing. And it was really good. Highly underrated. You need to check it out. The dude was on there. He is a animator. His living is basically making these animations. He said, "This is the first YouTube video I've disliked in years." So it's not just random nobodies who know nothing about animation that don't like this. It is people from all across all kind of abilities that do not like this, do not want this, do not understand why this exists. I want to think that this will be good. I can't. I just can't. I know that this is a cynical cash grab. In my heart, I know that this is just to cap on to the Teen Titans Go hype. The first meme I see in this, and we know it's going to have memes, I am going to scream. Because it's being made right now and it's not going to air until 2019, I'm going to guess that it's probably going to have a "Do you know Dewey" in it at some point. I would love to come back and find out I'm right and just laugh. Because if I don't laugh, I'm going to cry. I am getting so tired of all of these cynical cash grab reboots that have nothing to do with the original show. They're made by people that obviously knew nothing about what made the original show good and popular. That are done just because it's cheap. You don't have to be creative and make something new. You can make toys off this really easily. I am so tired of it, and I just want this to die. Prove me wrong, please. Make me a fan of the series because it's good. I would love to be. As a fan of the original, as a fan of the 2011 reboot, I would love to love this. I ain't holding my breath. This has been Math Machine, being a whiny little man-baby child about a cartoon series that isn't aimed for you. Yeah, fuck you, jackasses. Peace out.